Hi everyone, and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the Candescent Bracelet, and this was designed by me a week or two ago. I can't exactly remember how many days, but this is what it looks like. So I posted this on my Instagram and a lot of you guys liked it and asked for a tutorial, so here I am filming one. So this is what it looks like on the signature side. You can also wear it on this side. There's not very much of a difference except for the borders. So you can make this in as many colors as you like. I used 3 here, 3 there, and then I only used 2 of them here, so it looks like a lot more colors because these are the groovy tie-dye, but I just used a couple colors. So anyway, I'm not going to bring up my Instagram profile, but I will make sure to have my name in the description box below if you want to check that out or if you haven't already. But this is what you're going to need. So you're going to want 7 pins. You're going to need 14 if you want to make a full wrap. You want to have them aligned like so. You're also going to want a hook. I'm just going to use a rainbow loom hook. And a C-clip to secure your bracelet up top. And then some bands. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right into this and get started. So for the neon green in this bracelet, which is the border and a couple of things in the center and the single chains, I'm going to be using cocoa for. And then for the fuchsia in this bracelet here, I'm going to be using Caribbean green. And then for the neon yellow, I will be using teal. So starting with the border, which is neon green, so I'm going to use cocoa. You're just going to start on that bottom center peg and trace the border out to the left and out to the right, and then just go in a zigzag all the way across. And same thing here. And then you're going to go ahead and just simply make a single chain down both sides of your loom. So it doesn't matter what side you start on. I'm just going to go all the way up my left side, and then I will go up my right. And once you get to the second to last peg up here, you're going to want to go up and into the center, and then down into the center, and then lastly back up into the center like this. So we're just closing it off like we started it off. I'm going to go ahead and come back and do my right side now. It's just the same thing. Once you get to the second to last peg, you're going to go up and into the center, then back down and into the center, and then back up again. So you should end like this. And if your loom looks like this, we're going to go ahead and come back to the beginning of the loom. Next thing we're going to be doing is placing these fuchsia bands that kind of wrap over the border here. And like I said before, I will be using Caribbean green for that. So what you're going to do is start on this first peg on the first pin. Going to go up and into the center, then go up to the second peg on the first pin and go up and into the center, and just continue that all the way down until you reach the end of your loom. And same thing on the right side. On the 7th pin here, you're going to go up and into the center, and just do this all the way down the loom as well. You can actually make this on 4-bar pins as well with a transfer, but I'm not going to have a tutorial for that one because it's just a simple one transfer type deal. So a lot of you who have done transfers will probably know what to do. But anyway, once you have placed those bands, it should end up looking like this. We're not going to place one here because it'll overlap the border. We don't exactly want that right now, so we're going to go ahead and come back to the beginning of the loom. Next thing we're going to be doing is placing these neon yellow bands. They're a bit hard to distinguish from the neon green, but there's these bands here, and then this chain in the center. But first we're going to place these side ones, and I'm going to be using teal. And starting from where you left off with your Caribbean green, you're going to go down into the center with each of your teal bands, just like so. And then you're going to go on the other side as well, go down into the center, and then continue this all the way up your loom, and then I will show you what to do once you get to the end. Okay, so once you have gotten to the end, your loom should look like this, and you're going to end by going down into the center and down into the center here. Again, we're not going to overlap the border, and I can try and put these bands away here. We're going to go ahead and come back to the beginning of the loom, and next thing we're going to do is place these neon green bands that are here in the center, and I'm going to be using cocoa again for that. And from here you're going to go back up into the center, so kind of like a zigzag here. Again, go up into the center, and you can do this on both sides as well. So they're just going to end in an arrow shape here. Oops. And go ahead and do this all the way down until you reach the end of your loom. We have a couple more layers to place after this, and then we can start looping. And you're going to want to end like this, and you're not going to overlap the border again. So once you have your bands looking like this, we're going to go ahead and come back to the beginning of the loom. We have a couple more layers to place, like I said before, and one of those next layers is going to be the fuchsia bands that are right here in the center. So I'm going to be using Caribbean green again, and we're going to be placing long arrow shapes. So starting here, we're going to go up and into the center on a longer stretch. So make sure you have stretchy bands for this. Again, going up into the center, and then go up to the next pin, up into the center, and just make a long stretch all the way down until you reach the end of your loom. Also, if your bands get twisted, make sure you untwist them now. Okay, so once you have reached the end, you are going to go up into this very top center peg here. But once you've done that, we're going to go ahead and come back to the beginning of the loom. And next thing we're going to be doing is placing 3 single chains. So in this bracelet, these ones on the sides here are neon green, and then the one in the center is neon yellow. So I'm going to be doing the same thing, my neon green as cocoa here. And I'm just going to go right up the center, or not right up the center, sorry, of the second and the 6th pegs here, the pins. So very simple single chains here, and I'm going to do this until I reach the end of my loom, and then I will show you how to do the last one. Okay, so when you reach the top, they should end out here on these two border bands, and then once you're done that, we're going to place our last single chain, which I'm using teal for. So you're just going to go up the center here. This time we actually are going right up the center. Made the mistake of saying the wrong thing last time. And this center chain is why you can make it on just 4 pegs, by the way. So anyway, once you have reached the end, you're going to make sure that it ends up here on this last border band peg, and then you're going to go ahead and turn your loom around so that the arrows are pointing towards you. We have 3 cap bands to add, all of which I am using cocoa for, and they're going to be on each of the pegs with the single chain. So I usually like to attach multiple C-clips when I'm doing a wide bracelet, so I'm only going to do a simple cap band on each of the pegs. 1 second. I'm going to try and get the cap bands on here. So 1 cap band on each of the pegs, and then what we're going to do is start looping. So go ahead and grab your hook, and the first thing we're going to be doing is looping all 3 of these single chain bands, or these single chain pegs. So just go underneath of the cap band and grab that top band and just loop it onto itself, and you're going to do that all the way down the loom. This isn't a particularly difficult bracelet, even though it might look a little bit complicated. It's just a matter of, I guess, looping the steps in the correct order. When you're looping, make sure that you don't grab any of the other bands. And once you have reached the top, go ahead and push down that chain and go ahead and do the other chain here. And just the same thing when you reach the top, go ahead and push those bands down. And last thing we're going to do is loop this center chain here. So just looping up the teal bands in the center, and then we get into the next part. Okay. Go ahead and push that down as well, just so your bands don't pop off. And next thing we're going to be doing is looping these Caribbean green arrow, or long arrow bands, so whoopsies. So just go underneath of the cap band here, if I can get my hook under there. And you're going to grab the top Caribbean green band, and you're going to pull it straight to itself. And then go back under, grab the next one, and pull that Caribbean green band straight over to itself as well. And then you're going to go up into the second peg, again grabbing that Caribbean green band and pulling it to itself. And this Caribbean green band, you're going to pull it to itself. And just go up and loop those bands out to themselves all the way down your loom. It is going to stretch your single chain a bit, so just be aware of that. Oops. And once you have looped up all of those bands up in here to the end, we're going to go ahead and come back to the beginning of the loom. And the next thing we're going to be doing is looping these Caribbean green bands that are here in the center. And all we're going to be doing is simply going underneath, grabbing these bands, and looping them back to themselves. And back to themselves. Go underneath here, and loop it back to itself, and back to itself. And back to itself, back to itself. So nothing super complicated or special there. Just go ahead, make sure you only grab one band. If you do grab both bands, it shouldn't be too hard to just pick back up and loop back over. So go ahead and do this all the way down so you reach the end of your loom. Oops, I just grabbed multiple bands again. Okay. And once you have gotten up to the top of your loom, you're going to go ahead and come back down. And we're now going to be looping these teal bands underneath of here. So all you have to do is go underneath to the very bottom and grab that teal band and just simply pull it back towards itself. Going up to the next peg, go all the way to the bottom, pull that teal band back to itself, and back to itself, and so on and so forth down your loom. The only thing that's kind of complicated about this bracelet is the border, but it's not too difficult, so it's not horribly complicated to do, I guess. But I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, and since it doesn't matter which of these bands that you loop first, I'm just going to go back down this side. And because none of these teal bands affect the other teal bands, we're just going to loop them back in whatever order you like. Okay, once you have looped those all the way down, we're going to next loop these Caribbean green bands. And just like we've been doing, go ahead, go all the way to the bottom, grab that Caribbean green band and pull it up and over to itself. Again, go all the way to the bottom, pull that up and over to itself, and continue doing this all the way down till you reach the end of the loom. And then I will show you how to loop the border. And again, I'm just going to loop these down kind of backwards, I guess, down the right side, just because they don't affect the other bands. And once you have looped all of those down, you may want to push down those bands a little bit, but it shouldn't really matter too much. And now what we're going to be doing is looping the border. So go first underneath of your cap band and grab the top band and loop that out to itself. And go into the cap band again, loop that band out to itself, and loop that down, and then grab the bottom band, loop back up, and back up, and then we're only going to loop this forward once on each side. So once you loop it forward one time, what we're going to do is kind of turn your loom sideways here, and we're going to grab the bottom Caribbean green band. You're going to pull that up and over the peg and release. So just like that. Then you're going to go to the bottom again, grab your cocoa and pull that forward, and grab the bottom Caribbean green here, pull that up and over the peg, and release. Pull the cocoa forward, Caribbean green, bottom Caribbean green over and release. Try to untwist your bands while they're here, I guess, and then loop that forward again. So it's the same thing on the right side. You're just going to grab the bottom Caribbean green band, pull it up and over, and release. Then grab the bottom band and pull it forward. There's loud cars outside. Pull the bottom band over and then pull the cocoa forward. Bottom Caribbean green band over and cocoa forward. So this is what you're going to be doing all the way down until you reach the end of your loom. I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then I'll show you how to finish it off. And once you get to the top, once you pull this band over here, you're going to go up into the center, and then down into the center, and then back up into the very top center peg here, and continue doing this on the other side as well. So I still have to finish my right side here, and then I'll show you how to take this off. Make sure you are also going in from the outside. Don't go inside of the peg. Just from the outside, grab it and pull it over. Again, up, then down, then back up into the top center here. And before I take this off, I like to take these these bands on the top two pegs off here, just so that it's easier to take off. And then down here I like to take off the cap band and this cap band and this cap band, and then these two side ones. It just helps me take it off, I guess. Then I'm going to take an extension band, stick my hook down through, and grab both ends of that so that I can pull this bracelet off. It shouldn't be super tight, so I don't think you should have too many problems, but still try not to break your bands. These Caribbean green bands in the center are really difficult to take off, but I usually take it off from the bottom anyway with my hook, and it takes longer to do that way, so I'm not going to do it in the tutorial, but if you like to do it that way, then that's probably the easier way, to be honest. Pull this off. Okay, so once you have this, you can go ahead and pull on it on the sides and just pull it long ways so that all of your bands get reorganized. But this is what it will look like once you take it off of the loom, and you can also adjust these bands here if they're twisted and that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's what I'm going to have for this tutorial. So thank you for watching, and make sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe. I will have my Instagram name in the description box below if you want to check that out. I always post my original designs there before I post them here on YouTube to make sure that they are original, so if you do want a sneak preview of that, you can go ahead and check that out. And that's what I'm going to have for this video, so I hope to see you next time.